Hiya guys, how y'all doing? It's Will back once again for another fight card prediction. It's finally here. UFC 202, the eagerly awaited rematch between Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor. I've been looking forward to this for the last 6 weeks now. Originally when this fight was made, when the first fight was done, I wasn't too eager for them to rematch straight away. And now I can't wait to see this fight, so much so that I've taken a few weeks off work after tomorrow, just to kind of get myself ready for this week coming up. As always, please follow the guys down below me who make great content, and also please, if you're over here in Britain, the UK, America, wherever, go check out Severe MMA. I was going to be wearing one of the shirts that I've just purchased to support those guys, because they do great stuff, fight week coverage. Andrew, Pete, Dave are all heading over to Vegas for that. Sean will be holding the fort back home, putting out great content all week, keeping you up to date. So please go and go onto the website and check things out there. Dan Levy, Half the Battle, great stuff as always. Rockstar Z, Flying Brian, a couple of other favourite guys out there. There's other guys like Brandon Kaplan, whose video's out already. He's had it out for a few days. Always makes good stuff. And a shout out to UFC Betting Sharks on Facebook. A load of guys on there who love the sport, love betting about, talking about the bets and so they've got on the sport, their picks, so on, so on. So just a shout out to you guys. Overall, the card looks very, very good. There's a lot of good fights on there. Newcomers that have come in, I'm actually quite interested in some of these guys after watching the tape on them. But see, it's really the main event is. I've been flip-flopping on my pick for a good week to 2 weeks solid. I keep watching the fight between them back in March, and I cannot really. I think I've been going one day Diaz, one day McGregor. I think I've kind of come to a conclusion, which we'll go into later on. But we'll get into this card. I think we're starting down in I think it's the welterweight division, because I thought Alberto Uda. It says middleweight here on Wikipedia, but I think it's going to be at welterweight. It's going to be Alberto Uda against the debuting Marvin Vettori. So we'll start with Alberto Uda. Second fight in the UFC. Lost last time to Jake Collier. Started off okay. Hit Collier with a pretty nice knee. Broke his nose. But then kind of went downhill very quick. I think once it went to the second round, he ate shots. And he went down very, very quickly. Some of the things I noticed before he went to the UFC he was fairly good at. He was okay off his back. In the clinch, he was a little bit weak. He threw some decent strikes, but he didn't really face anybody of any real stature. To Perpetua, I think, was one of the guys he beat back in Brazil. Overall, I don't think there's middleweights outside the UFC that deserve to be in there. People like my man Mike Rhodes, I think, would starch this dude very, very easily. So whether he stays in the UFC after this fight, we'll wait and see, because see, I'm going to be going with Marvin Vettori, and I'm going to tell you why. Marvin Vettori, coming out of Italy, a guy I've known about for the last 2 years here in the European circuit. First heard of this guy, UC MMA. He was against Bill Beaumont. He was training at London Shoot Fighters at the time, and I think it was the London card. I actually seen him. I was introduced to him down in London at that card. Really nice guy. Really, his English wasn't overly great at the time, but some of the interviews I've seen, he has got better. Lost that fight to Bill Beaumont, and then I seen him last time out in Venator, where I believe that he's been training at King's MMA now, and we've seen that in the fight against Igor Araujo. Former UFC veteran, came in, hit him with a big knee, and then went to the ground with Araujo, who is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, quite a feared guy down in there. He has been in the past, maybe not so much nowadays. He submitted that guy in 40 seconds. He starched him, and he's getting his UFC debut here. And I really like him against Udo here. I think he can. His striking is definitely. I think it's going to progress. It's only going to progress at King's MMA under Rafael Cordero. The training partners he's going to have. Rafael dos Anjos, Benil Dariush. If you're training round about those guys, you're going to learn a lot of those guys, along with Master Rafa. I really think this guy's a really good addition to the UFC, if it is the welterweight division. I believe it is. A really good addition. I'm looking forward to seeing him here. He kind of bull rushes you a little bit. I say striking is ever improving, but he's got a legit ground game. He really a good guy down there. He jumps on things, very strong physical guy. The one thing I didn't like about it was that sometimes he gives up position very easily. So you could have someone against the cage and he'll fall to his back just to try and catch a leg lock or an omoplata or something down there, a triangle, and that gives away the position. And against the wrong guy, he's going to get caught with something really bad down there. I don't think Alberto is the guy here. I'm going to go Marvin Vettori. I'm going to go submission in round number 1. I think this guy's a really strong dude. I'm interested to see him make his UFC debut. So my pick will be Vettori in the first round. Welterweight division, we have Colby Covington against Max Griffin. When I first heard Colby Covington had got another newcomer, I think his original opponent fell out. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. I was like, I've heard of this guy's name before, Max Griffin. And if you watch WFC Westside Fighting Championships, or West Coast Fighting Championships, I can West Coast Fighting Championship, he was the welterweight champion there, and he beat their heavyweight champion at the time, and David Mitchell, who's a former UFC vet, trains out at Team Alpha Male, and it was a bit of a weird fight, to be honest with you. It's like he was playing possum a little bit, possibly, and then he got hit with a big shot. One's got put down, got back up, and then Griffin just followed up and absolutely wailed the life out of him, put him down and put him to sleep. Before that, he beat Buddy Randall. A lot. I went into the 4th round. It was a championship fight, and what I seen out of that was that he's got really good striking. If he can keep it on the feet, he's really going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I think he's got a chance against Colby Covington here, but his fight IQ kind of lacks a little bit for me, and I don't like that. There was times in that fight with Buddy Randall, who is predominantly a grappler, looks for submissions, and he went into positions where he really shouldn't be going into, up against the cage. All he had to do was disengage, come back and pop some shots off, and he was hurting that guy, and eventually as the fight went on, he really did start hurting that Buddy Randall. And a Buddy Wallace, I think. I can never remember his name. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here. I'm a little bit... But caught him with that, took him out, and then he beat David Mitchell. Really like what I saw of this guy, but I think Colby Covington, his grappling is just going to be too much. I can see Covington kind of engaging in the striking to put him against the cage, and then his chain wrestling off there will lead to a takedown. I think he might be able to keep him down for long periods of the rounds and eke out a decision. On DraftKings, I don't think Max Griffin's a bad pick at all, because I think he could catch Covington with something. But I'm going to go Colby Covington via decision. The premier fight, or the Fight Pass prelims, we have Neil Magny against Lorenz Larkin. This is a great fight. I've seen Lorenz Larkin. He's been talking about he's not too enamoured about being down there in Fight Pass. He wants to be further up the card, and that's fair enough, because this really is a main card fight. It should be on the main card. You're looking at Tim Means, Sabah Homasi, Hung Yu Lim, Mike Perry. They shouldn't be on the main card. I think either one of them could have swapped down in there. Probably Tim Means could have went down in here. But Neil Magny, this guy, I cannot pick a fight right with this guy. I'm forever picking against him. I don't know why, because he's one of the most improved fighters in the UFC within the last 18 to 24 months, without a doubt. With his only loss in there coming to Damian Maia, where he just got literally taken to the ground and he landed nothing in that fight. He didn't show anything in that fight, and that can happen against Damian Maia sometimes as well. Beat Kelvin Gastelum, and then last time he beat Hector Lombard. He weathered the storm, get hit, I think he got put down, then he just started to work, and his superior gas tank, his superior cardio, his long jab, he's very lengthy for the welterweight division. Great pace to him, keeps going the whole fight, and he's such an improved fighter, but I cannot pick a fight right with him. I'm forever picking against him, and he's forever proving me wrong. Lawrence Larkin, I loved his fight with Jorge Masvidal and Albert Tumanov. His last few fights, they're just great fights to watch. If you get a chance to go back and watch them do it, it's really fun to watch, and his striking is so good, so fast, superior hand speed, superior footwork, so accurate as well, and he's in and out so quick that you cannot kind of get your shots off against him too quick. He's in and out really good, showing improvements in his takedown defense. How do I see Neil Magny winning this fight? Keeping at the end of that jab and trying getting away from the flurries that Lawrence Larkin will show. He's got great leg kicks as well, so he might want to chop down Neil Magny in that fight. But I'm going to go Lawrence Larkin in this one. He's the betting underdog as well. I think he's plus 110 I seen earlier on, and if that goes a little bit higher, I'd like it to go to maybe 115, 120 before I'm a little bit convinced they'll go in it. But I like Lawrence Larkin. I think his speed's going to be too much, and he can take a shot to give a shot as well. So I'm going to go Lawrence Larkin via a decision. Might be a split decision, might be very close, but I like Lawrence Larkin. I think he's just got a few more tools to his game. I think his striking's just a little bit too advanced for Neil Magny, and he'll win that fight there via decision. Moving into Fox Sports 1 prelim card, Randa Markos against Cortney Casey in the women's strawweight division. This came together fairly quick. I think it was only like maybe 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago since this got put together. And I like the matchup personally. I think it's a really good matchup here. Two girls who I'm fairly high on in that strawweight division. Randa Markos coming off that win. She's getting a quick turnaround here against Casey. She beat Jocelyn Jones Lieberger in Ottawa. Just a really good performance, a solid performance up there in Canada, and got the victory there. Just a rugged fighter, comes forward, very, very tough, great cardio, good takedowns, just keeps coming. Really good fighter to kind of learn bits and pieces of if you watch her closely enough. Cortney Casey, I'm really impressed with this girl. I think she could go far in that women's strawweight division if she starts to put everything together. Last time out against Christina Stanciu, she wrecked Stanciu badly, hurt her on the feet, put her down there and just unloaded with ground and pound. Had some tough fights coming into UFC. I mean, a short notice fight with Jojo where she hurt Jojo. She did very well for herself, to be honest with you there. She gave a good account of herself on such a short notice in front of the kind of lion's den of being there in Glasgow, and I was cage-side for that, and she did well in that fight. She could have took out Jojo in that first round, no doubt about it. And then Seo Hee-Ham was another one that she faced, but she got that win against Stanciu very impressively, and she's the underdog in this fight. And I like Cortney Casey in this fight. I think that she's going to be big. I think she's going to be hard to take down. I think she's going to hurt Markos in the feet and bust her up a little bit. And I'm probably going to end up betting Cortney Casey as an underdog, one of the underdogs for this card. I've got a feeling about her for this one. So hopefully she can pull through. Close fight. I'm going to go via split decision for Cortney Casey. Featherweight division with Artem Lobov against the debutante and Chris Avila. Now Chris Avila is a guy I've watched his fights. I watched him before he even came into UFC. I met him back in April in Vegas. Really cool kid. And I mean the Diaz team, they roll in huge cliques. Gang of people, and they were telling me Chris Avila's coming through, and I knew who he was, and he's the future. But I just think this is a little bit too early for him. I think he's a 6-1 record, and I know Artem Lobov isn't your quintessential best fighter kind of on the card, but I'm just finding it really hard to see where Chris Avila really has the advantage here. He does have a massive, I think it was an 8 or 9 inch reach advantage, so he might want to pot shot from the outside, keep it there, potentially go for a takedown, come back to his feet and try and dominate on the feet. But if you stay in the feet with Artem Lobov, you're gonna be in trouble, because he's gonna keep coming forward and he's gonna keep throwing shots. The right kind of way to beat Artem Lobov was like what Alex White did when he beat Lobov last time out. Take him down and just do enough in the feet and then take him down again. I don't think Avila, first of all, I don't think he's going to submit him, because if Ryan Hall can't do it, I don't think Avila has the kind of experience to do so soon. But the Diaz brothers are saying a lot about this kid. He might just want to pot shot from the outside and look to kind of take a decision. But I think Lobov is going to come forward. If this stays in the feet, that plays right into his wheelhouse here. I mean, it doesn't take much to land big shots for Artem, and you're looking at the lights. So I'm going to pick Artem Lobov. I think he's got the power to really, he could hurt Avila in this one. But yeah, I'm going to go Artem Lobov not overly confident in the pick because I think Avila could really shine in this one and really give himself a name for this, for this card. But my pick's going to be Artem Lobov. As I say, not confident. I'm going to go a TKO victory in round number 2. Round number 2, TKO victory. But say, I don't think I'll be betting that fight. I'll just be kind of leaving that and kind of passing for that one. But my pick will be Lobov. Women's bantamweight division, Raquel Pennington against Elizabeth Phillips. When I seen this fight, I was a little bit like, what the hell's going on here? Because Pennington's a girl coming through in that bantamweight division who's, every time you see her, she is progressing greatly with her skills. Extremely tough girl. And she's showing kind of all of her facets of her game. We saw that victory over Ashley Evans-Smith. I thought her fight with Holly Holm was very close. She had a chance to win that fight in my opinion. And then since then she's come out and she's just looked really, really good with her overall game. I really like what I'm seeing. Submitted Jessica Andrade, a really tough girl to fight, and submitted her very, very comprehensively there. Then beat up Betchko. I don't think that was really a split decision in that one. I thought she won that fight fairly convincingly. But she's got Elizabeth Phillips here, who is another girl. I just don't see where she's going to trouble Rocky here. I think Rocky hits harder. I think she's faster. I think she's more accurate. I think she's definitely more stronger than what Elizabeth Phillips is. I'll only win the UFC is against Jessamine Duke. I'm not going to go into this too much. It's going to be Raquel Pennington. I think she can stop Phillips. Phillips, to her detriment, is very, very tough and keeps herself in the fight. But my pick's going to be Raquel Pennington. I'm going to go submission in round number 2. And moving on to the headline fight of the prelims, we have Cody Garbrandt against Takeya Mizugaki. Cody Garbrandt, last time I made my video when he was against Thomas Almeida, and I really, really wanted to pick Cody Garbrandt, but kind of shit the bed and went with the guy who was just pretty much a Terminator, was getting in there and just terminating people and beating their ass. And I knew fine well that Cody Garbrandt had all the skills to beat Almeida and to knock him out as well. Just didn't go with it. And I was pretty surprised when Mizugaki kind of showed up for this one here. I thought he would have been put on the Cleveland card for 203 personally, possibly against Brian Caraway, who fought in the same card. But I think he's got himself a showcase fight here. A little bit surprised. This is on the prelims as well, but I suppose you have to get the viewers in before the pay-per-view, and Garbrandt brings people in. But I like Garbrandt in this one. I can't really pick Mizugaki. He's a solid fighter, no doubt about it. A nice boxing game, nice jab, pretty good everywhere, solid everywhere. But the only times, I think his last one was George Roop. George Roop's not very good whatsoever. But he only gets finished by good guys. Faber stopped him, Aljo stopped him, Dominic Cruz stopped him. I think this is made for Cody Garbrandt. He's got superior boxing. He's got that wrestling if he needs to use it. He's got the speed over Mizugaki everywhere. His hand speed is searing. Hasn't got the biggest reach in that bantamweight division, but his hand speed, in his fight with Almeida, he just destroyed Thomas Almeida and made it look fairly easily. He used the aggression of Almeida and just put him on his ass, put him to sleep. I like Cody Garbrandt in this one. I was thinking earlier on in the week of a decision. I thought Mizugaki's a tough guy. It could go to decision, but I just think that Garbrandt's kind of on the up at the minute. Looking really good. Looks ready to go from what I've seen on social media. Cody Garbrandt via TKO. I'm going to go in the kind of later end of round number 2, but I do think he dominates throughout. But my pick's going to be TKO, round number 2 for Cody Garbrandt. Moving on to the main card. We have the first fight of the night, welterweight division. We have Tim Means against Sabah Homasi. Now, this has been put together fairly short here. Sean Strickland was supposed to fight against Tim Means here, and I thought that was a really good fight, a really close fight, because Strickland is a bit of a spoiler. Good long jab himself, improving on the feet, But he's got Sabah Homasi, who I literally watched, I think it was about 10 days ago, at Titan FC against Jorge Patino, where he knocked him out with a beautiful strike in round number 2. He was an Ultimate Fighter. Well, I think he's going to get the short end of the stick here because Tim Means is coming back. He's hungry. This guy he's just so good to watch. He's so aggressive, really long, nice striking, and just a guy who's progressing. He had that ban for a little bit that was rescinded, I believe, for he possibly popped for something. I'm not 100% sure on that, but he's back now, and I like this fight from him fairly convincingly. I think he's just better everywhere than Sabah Homasi. This is probably going to end up being a bit of a striking war. Sabah hits hard, but I don't think there's much technique behind it. Where Tim Means, he tries to get in the clinch and he tries to load with elbows, knees, put it against the cage, just beat your ass. I like Tim Means in this one. I'm going to pick him via TKO in round number 1. Moving on, staying in the welterweight division, we have Hyun Lim against Mike Perry. I love Hyun Lim. I'm a big fan of just watching this guy. He's really aggressive. He's a huge guy, like 6'3". Looks like a stretch for him to make 170. Does so. Doesn't look great for it. But in fight night, this guy is massive. A really big dude. And he's against Mike Perry here. I mean, Lim lost. I think he lost last time out to Neil Magny. I could be wrong with that one as well. I think he might have fought since. Neil Magny was his last loss. He came out, he hurt Magny early on in that fight. Then he kind of gassed out. Magny got him to the ground. He postured up and just beat the shit out of Hyun Lim. Not that it's a bad loss because Magny is ascending in that division. Before that, he beat Takanori Sato, which was a gimme. Gave Tariq Safadine some problems, and I mean the heart he showed in that fight. He got his legs kicked out from underneath him so many times, but kept on going and nearly finished Safadine in round number 5. Mike Perry, 6-0 record, all wins via KO. Watched some of his amateur fights where he kind of got lucky. The last guy that he faced, David Mundell, he faced him as an amateur and twice he got put in his backside and he got saved by the bell at the end of round number 1. Came back and actually finished the fight, and his last pro fight was actually against David Mundell where he finished him via TKO in the second round. If this is going to be a stand-up war, and Hyun Lim, he needs to kind of watch his aggression because Perry does crack hard, but everything goes for Hyun Lim here. If he stays kind of patient, throws the right kind of shots, doesn't get overly aggressive, doesn't get reckless with his striking, leave his chin in there. I've got to pick Hyun Lim here. I'm going to go another first round knockout. The guy's just hits too hard, too heavy a hitter. So my pick's going to be Hyun Lim, round number 2. TKO. Round number 1, sorry, TKO. Welterweight division, staying in there once again. A lot of fights in the welterweight division here. Rick Story against Donald Cerrone, really good fight. Top fight. Story last time out, spoiled against Tariq Safadine, did what he had to do, took some licks in that fight, but gave a lot more back and put Safadine against the cage and just controlled him. Some beautiful striking down there, some dirty boxing, beat up the legs with knees up against the cage, and was just genuinely a really guy's totally underrated, totally one of the most underrated fighters in the whole of the UFC. Beat Gunnar Nelson over here in Europe and looked fantastic in doing so. And he says his only losses in his last 7 or 8 fights is Mike Pyle, tough guy to face, that was a split, and then it was Kelvin Gastelum, who is one of the best in that welterweight division. Donald Cerrone last time out against Patrick Cote looked as good as he ever did. Quicker, hits harder, just used kind of every facet of his game in that fight and took out a very tough Patrick Cote. Now I'm banking on seeing that again. I think he's going to need to do that again against Rick Story because Story is one of the best guys in the welterweight division, no doubt about it. But when Donald Cerrone looks like that, he's really good to watch, and he's just a thoroughbred in there, a real top fighter. I'm kind of banking on seeing that again. Not overly confident in picking him, but I'm going to go and pick him. But I'm going to hopefully he can continue that momentum from the Patrick Cote fight. He's going to have to stop the takedowns here, maybe use his jiu-jitsu to keep it on the feet, needs to kind of use the leg kicks a little bit here. Needs to watch. I think he's got that kind of beer body where if you, the kind of Matt Brown, if you take a shot to the stomach, that's where you can get Donald Cerrone. We've seen that in the past. But I'm going to go Donald Cerrone here. Close fight. I'm going to pick him via decision. Co-main event of the night, Anthony Rumble Johnson against Glover Teixeira. Another great fight. Looking at this fight, Glover Teixeira looks in great shape, and he's actually, if you're going to bet for an underdog in this card, I don't think Teixeira's a bad bet whatsoever. I'll need to see what the line is myself, and I might make that decision. But I mean, Teixeira, his last 3 fights since I think the loss to John Jones, he's looked really kind of composed and really good. His last loss was Phil Davis. Beat Owen St. Preux, beautiful submission in his hometown. Went there, took some shots early, but kind of gave out, and it's just his aggression. And St. Preux struggled with just the all-around great game that Teixeira has, because he is dangerous everywhere. He's got so many ways to win fights. Great boxing, great striking. Can be hit to the chin a little bit, and he has been rocked in the past. Beat Patrick Cummins, which is fairly self-explanatory, and then he knocked out Sugar Rashad Evans last time, back in April. But he's against the guy who... this guy just needs to tap your chin a little bit, and you're seeing stars. And that it's hard to pick against this guy because of that, because the guy's... he's fucking huge, he's massive, and he's such a big hitter that it doesn't take much of him. I mean, that fight against Cormier, he came out and in the first round he floored Cormier. That shows you how tough Cormier is, by the way, and threw him halfway across the ring with that shot, and then he kind of went on, he gassed himself out, knocked out another striker in Jimmy Manoa, then he knocked out Ryan Breda clean back in January. I would love to pick Glover Teixeira here, but Glover Teixeira, to be fair to him, has more ways to win this fight. I think the longer it goes, his cardio is a little bit better. Saying that Anthony Johnson against Phil Davis, the last time it went to decision, he looked phenomenal in that. Submissions, it's definitely on the side of Glover Teixeira. He has got the boxing to potentially stick in there with Anthony Johnson, but I just feel that Anthony Johnson is really going to catch him with something. It doesn't take much. I mean, we've seen with Gustafsson, he caught him, I think it was right behind the ear or round about the ear, and that was it for Gustafsson. It doesn't take much, and we have seen Glover kind of rocked in the past. Really hard to pick against Anthony Johnson, and I'm going to pick him via knockout in the late first, early second. I think it could go into the second. Glover's tough, but it has to be Rumble Johnson. That power is not to be fucked around with. So Anthony Johnson, TKO. I'm going to go early round number 2, and the main event of the night. The fight I've been going back and forward for weeks about, Nate Diaz against Conor McGregor. Let's talk about the first fight. There's a couple of kind of misconceptions about that kind of first fight. I'll get them out of the way. A lot of people, I mean, Conor McGregor, he did dominate most of the first round, but Nate Diaz got his licks in that one. People were saying, it was a clear round for Conor McGregor, and it was. He beat up Nate a little bit, but Nate also hit him with some shots in that fight, in that first round as well. They were saying that, I know that Conor in the second round, his jiu-jitsu kind of let him down a little bit, but he had a beautiful X-guard sweep, which, if you go on YouTube and check out the Gracie brothers, Brian Ortega, I think there's numerous other ones as well, they were talking about how hard that is to pull off and how much an advanced technique that is. So that shows something. He went into the guard of Nate Diaz, and he got to the end of the first round, and it shows that he's got skills to kind of stay down there. Does he want to be down there? Fuck no, he doesn't want to be down there, especially with Nate Diaz, who is a legit black belt and can catch stuff. But yeah, the first round, McGregor, he did unload on Nate Diaz a little bit. I thought he was just a little bit too aggressive, and the shots that he was hitting were, a lot of them were clean shots, but there was a lot of shots that hit the arms. He put a lot of pressure into his shots. I thought his kicks, that's something I think he has to really stay away from in this fight, is they flashy kicks. I think they take a lot out of you. We've seen that with Yair Rodriguez against Alex Caceres, who, I know that was at kind of altitude as well, but just keep it in the boxing and keep it. I think it's very, very close boxing between these two, because I've heard people say that Conor McGregor's better than Nate Diaz boxing. I don't really believe that personally. I think that Diaz is a phenomenal boxer. I think Conor is the harder hitter, not by much, but in that first fight I thought that Conor McGregor, he really did oversell a lot and things. He oversold in that left hand a little bit. He didn't kind of roll his head that much, and he got caught with strikes, and that showed in the second round. But the one thing that was clear as day was that Conor McGregor did not have the cardio for that fight, and he wasn't preparing for a guy like Nate Diaz, who I think Nate Diaz is one of the toughest guys you will ever see fight in the UFC. Never gives up, and he never really gives in. He's hard to put away. Josh Thompson put him away. Hermes Franca back in the day put him away. This is a tough guy to... I don't think you're going to go in there and knock him out in the first round. I just don't see it. He's too tough. He's too durable. I don't think Conor McGregor respected Nate Diaz's durability. I thought he'd maybe just disrespected Nate Diaz overall. I mean, Nate Diaz said, you've seen it there, he says he hits hard. He's a small guy, he's not going to give away. I thought there was definitely times in that fight he was hurt. You seen him kind of wobbling his legs a little bit. But he's a Diaz brother, and he's going to stay in there, and he's going to... all it takes is one shot, and the Diaz brothers know when they land that shot, they are in your head. And you've seen it in the fight. He hit a beautiful 1-2, came back, and he knew he had him, and he unloaded on him. And I say for 7-8 minutes, you have to say that was Conor McGregor's fight. You have to say it. Plain as day. I'm a big McGregor fan. Respect the life out of the Diaz brothers, because they're the toughest guys. I mean, Nate's been around since he was 21 years old in the UFC. That takes a shitload of doing to stay around and be relevant for so long. Face some of the hardest guys, the toughest guys. Also, we have Nate Diaz beat him in 10 days notice, and that in itself was phenomenal. But both guys were preparing for each other for 10 days, and I think that the kind of overall bigger Diaz, that kind of helped him in advantage here. But McGregor, he's had months, and he's been training for Nate Diaz for months, and I think he's going to prepare a lot better than he did in the first fight. And he's going to have that cardio, because I don't see him knocking him out in the first round. I don't see it in the second. I can see it going over in the third and the fourth, and then it's really anybody's game, because Diaz, you know, he's going to be there. You know, his cardio is going to be there. And he's going to be there. It's whether Conor McGregor can still be there but then it's all about whether he's going to be still going strong in rounds 3, 4 and 5. I can see this going into 3 and 4, but it's such a hard fight to pick. And I've seen people get attacked over who they're picking on Twitter, on YouTube. I've seen a lot of guys pick Nate Diaz, but the people have picked Conor McGregor. A lot of guys have jumped on their back, and that's not kind of fair, because this is just how you see the fight. I thoroughly believe that if Conor McGregor wins his fight, there's going to be a trilogy fight within the next 12 months easily. But as I say, I picked Conor McGregor in the first fight, but you will see from my reaction video I put up when I was watching the fight that I was so happy for Nate Diaz. I'm happy just that he got a huge payday, probably got the respect that he thoroughly deserves. And I don't mind seeing Conor McGregor losing to people like Nate Diaz, because Nate Diaz is one of the good guys, and he's one of the kind of hard-working guys, and he has done for years, and he's never got the respect that he was due, but he has been one of the toughest guys around. His brother's the same. But see, I have to make a pick, and I'm completely 50-50 on this one, because Nate Diaz has got a full camp. He's coming in here. He knows how to beat Conor McGregor. He's got the confidence to beat Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, he has to kind of change some things up, not be so reliant on that left hand, and just change things up, have sharper combinations, use his kicks, maybe leg kicks a little bit more, none of these oblique kicks, full leg kicks if he can, and occasionally use the spinning ones, but not too much, because I thought he kind of did too many of them in the first fight. Right, my pick. I'm going to pick Conor McGregor, and I'll probably get a lot of shit for this, but that's just my choice for it. I've been back and forward. Put it this way, I wouldn't mind if Nate Diaz wins this fight, because I think I think, I don't know, it's hard to say. I just think it's nice seeing the Diaz brothers getting paid. They've been around a long time, and they should get the respect that they truly deserve. But I just feel that Conor McGregor's going to come into this one, better game plan, better cardio. I seen something today saying he was going to push the pace like he did in the first fight, but keep it going to later rounds. I'm not sure he can do that, but I'm hoping he can. My pick's going to be Conor McGregor. Completely all over the place with the pick. I think if he can maybe knock out Nate going into 3 and 4. If he catches him, if the first 2 rounds he catches him with some big shots, open him up like he did in the first fight, I feel the accumulation of punches will hurt Nate. But I say I'm not confident in that McGregor pick whatsoever. Either way, if I pick Nate Diaz, I wasn't going to be too confident in that one either. But I'm going to go and pick Conor McGregor to win via TKO. I'm going to go on round number 4, and we will probably see a trilogy with these guys down the line. As I say, not overly confident, but I think that Conor, I just got a feeling for him in this one. I'm going to pick Conor McGregor TKO round number 4. So that's my picks for UFC 202 from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Come follow me on Twitter, WillMartin7MMA. Please help the guys down below me. Go and watch their content because it's great stuff. James Lynch, Severe MMA, Talking Brawls MMA, Half the Battle, Rockstar Z, Flying Brian. I could go on. There's loads of other people out there that you should go and check out. Robin Black, his breakdowns are absolutely unbelievable. And I'll be back for UFC Vancouver, Damian Maia against Carlos Condit. Enjoy this show when it comes around, and enjoy this main event because it's just a special main event. As I said at the beginning, I wasn't for this, but now it's coming in close. Now it's less than a week coming in here. It's going to be fantastic when it gets here. So enjoy the fights. Please comment, like and subscribe below. Share if you can. Take care. Enjoy the fights. Thank you very much.